Something evil is happening.
So we are talking about the movie Friend Request, which is also known as the title Unfriends. This is a 2016 social media horror film that I have to say, I was like, oh, a social media horror film, I don't know if I fancy that. But this one is directed by Simon Verhoeven and stars Alycia Debnam-Carey, who's been in a whole bunch of things, including Fear the Walking Dead, 300, she was in some other TV shows and some films. She's a busy and very prolific actress, so I'm sure we'll see a lot more of her. Now, the story here basically focuses on a young girl called Laura, who is a somewhat popular girl at school. She's got lots of friends, got a nice boyfriend and all of that, and she basically attracts the attention of a kind of a loner girl called Marina, and this Marina basically wants to become friends with her for some reason. We don't really know why, but there you go. And initially it looks like they make us become friends, but Laura is kind of somewhat put out by the amount of attention that basically Marina is kind of putting on her, and she becomes a little bit obsessive and basically rebuffs her to some degree and kind of defriends her off this Facebook style social site. I say style because we never see the Facebook logo, but it's clearly meant to be Facebook. They haven't obviously paid for that one. Anyway, this causes Marina to commit suicide, and obviously she feels guilty. Laura feels very guilty about it, but it's not, the nightmare hasn't even begun yet, because Marina has some supernatural abilities that are kind of present after her death, and she ends up haunting Laura and her friends and causing a lot of damage on social media and her threats to their very lives. So that's pretty much all I'll say to the story here. Let's talk about the positives and negatives. We'll start off with the negatives. One of the big things that annoyed me about this film is part of the plot is that Marina manipulates the social media, putting videos on Facebook that are very disturbing. This causes everyone to kind of like push back on Laura, but not once does someone say, "Oh, you've been hacked." They never talk about being hacked at all, which kind of bugged me. I've had my Facebook hacked. It's not all that uncommon, but not once does anyone kind of talk about that. She says, "Oh, it isn't me," but no one kind of acknowledges the fact that this has been hacked or anything like that. So that kind of bugged me. Second thing that bugged me is the comedy policeman. Out of place. They didn't need to be there. They served no purpose in the story and were there for just comic relief, and it seems kind of out of place making jokes when there's clearly some horrific things going on. So I wasn't a big fan of them. The other things I was not maybe as keen on, they're the two main ones. Laura is when we see her, she is quite the popular girl, and I don't really know why Marina decided to try and become friends with her. I would have thought it would have been better, and I'm rewriting the script somewhat here, if Laura was somewhat popular but still kind of a little bit of an outcast. So maybe Marina would have felt some kind of kinship with her, but as it stands at the moment, I didn't see why Marina would come to the kind of like be so obsessed of her to begin with. I didn't really understand what the attraction was, so to speak. What else? A couple of little things. There's a very little end kind of like I guess not exactly a secret scene, but the very epilogue I wasn't a big fan of. It kind of does a very kind of typical cliche horror thing, which I didn't like. And on the subject of cliches, there are some kind of cliche characters here. This kind of goes in hand with trying to make, I think, Laura's life a little bit too perfect. So we have some kind of sort of cliche characters, basically her friends, things like that, seem to fit kind of certain kind of stereotypes as we go through. But that's where the negatives end. On to the positives. I thoroughly enjoyed this film. I was, trepidatious about it because I'm not really interested in kind of the millennial horror film about social media. I know we've obviously got Unfriended. Wasn't really interested in that, to be honest with you. And there's been a couple of other kind of lower budget ones as well. But this one is far more of a traditional horror film. This one, I would say, is actually a single white female for the next generation with smatterings of The Ring. That's how I would describe this film. There is far more supernatural stuff going on here than I was expecting, and I have to say I thought the world building here was very good. I love the kind of the effects. The effects here were fantastic. Really good practical monster effects. Yes, monster effects. Very, very good. I like the kind of the artistic touches when we kind of Marina's talking about her sort of dreams and stuff. They use kind of animated sequences, which I thought blended very well and kind of fit with the kind of the style of it, almost making some kind of Tim Burton-esque style scenes, basically. The acting was all quite good. I really liked the actress who played Marina. I thought she did a great job of really kind of selling you on this kind of this loner kind of personality, and the conceit basically about how she becomes this kind of supernatural being. I thought was all very good, and kind of it makes you feel kind of even though this Marina ends up being quite the bad guy, you still kind of feel sorry for her. And it kind of, you do feel some empathy for her, and you're kind of interested in her backstory and that kind of thing. So I think they did a good job of really kind of building up this kind of character and making you someone you're interested in watching, basically. Oh, but all the performances were quite good, if not somewhat cliche, to be honest with you. Like I said, there are some kind of typical horror stock characters, but for all the kind of the major parts, I thought were all kind of played quite well, to be honest with you. The movie runs at a fair old pace. There's lots of kind of different kind of styles of effects. There are little touches of CGI that maybe were a little bit noticeable, but for the most part I would say a lot of the effects are kind of pretty good. There are a lot of jump scares in this film, so I don't actually mind jump scares so much, but there are quite a lot. So if you are not a fan of jump scares, I have to warn you that there is a fair amount of them. But overall, this was a thoroughly enjoyable film. I'm glad that I saw it. Don't let the kind of the social media and the kind of the millennial feel to this movie put you off. This is a decent horror entry, well made, and with good effects that I think you'll enjoy. So I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.